You're a suspect, chap. Don't leave town.
When a brother loves a brother very much.
Is that the story you tell your kids?
Yep. They don't do spit tests, Jim.
No.
Well, it answers that question.
They're not going to get a lot from the swallow test. Fudge stroke.
Fudge stroke.
Fudge stroke. Forget it. I can't say it. If you are looking for a dead serious podcast with dry, humorless people, I'm afraid you are in the wrong place. This is Midnight Hollow, and we will dive into some weird, creepy, and downright strange stories with a twist of humor, bad puns, and a whole lot of laughs. So sit back and enjoy the podcast. Welcome back to Midnight Hollow's podcast, where you can get some strange. That was right? Where you can get some strange. That's what it is,
Yes.
right? All right, good.
So.
This is episode 7 of season 2, and we'll be talking about Jack the Ripper. And no, that isn't referencing a man named Jack after a visit at Taco Bell. Yeah, okay, not getting good looks there. Then we'll have a 2-pack of quick-fire questions, some weird and strange stories, and to wrap it up, we will explore a wonderful article about a man in Florida and his amazing feat he performed.
Oh,
Wow.
feet.
All right, wordplay.
Starting out with the puns early, and they're flopping. They're flopping.
Oh, boy.
All right, so our topic is Jack the Ripper, and boy, that's a rabbit hole going down that.
Speaking of rabbit holes,
What?
wasn't the author of Through the Looking Glass a suspect?
Yes, what was his name? Clark or whatever his name was? Yeah. But that was like, they like laughed it off. That was a lot of the suspects, especially the long list, a lot of them were just for
Was it
publicity.
Lewis Carroll?
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't they have like a list of 600 suspects at one point or something like that? Are there initially?
After like kind of listening to a lot of stuff, watching videos, and even reading some stuff, boy, the police work was shite back then. Oh my God, was it shite. They were lost. People were rubbing stuff off walls that they didn't photograph or write down, and they were just moving bodies so it wouldn't cause chaos. So like the first 2 or 3, nothing was really
It would
done.
have been a good time to be a killer.
Essentially, yes.
I mean, apparently they still don't know who it is, so he got away with it. Or she.
She.
Yes. I was calling Jackie the Ripper, but
It's Jill. The Jill the Ripper theory is that the person wasn't caught because they wouldn't have ever suspected a woman to do it. And since there are like a lot of midwives just walking around with like blood-stained clothes, it was an easy alibi to just go unnoticed and like have blood all over you or have like what could be a weapon. But yeah, so they said that like a woman would fly completely under the radar, especially how close the timing was with the police arriving to some of the bodies and how someone could get away that fast that no one would have like thought to even look at any women walking around.
the other thing, generally speaking, is what happens if it was a policeman or a guy who had a policeman's outfit? Easily get in and out without any worries.
It's kind of funny reading about it, too, with all the women with the blood on their outfits, and then they were talking about guys who had jobs where they get blood on their outfits, and it's just like, I'm like envisioning, I'm like, is it just everybody walking around with blood on?
Yeah.
Like, everybody just has blood all over them
Leather
walking around the
apron.
streets, and like, nobody's,
And imagine
it's
that
not
today.
a second, yeah.
Imagine, like,
Cute.
going to a store and you see people with blood on them just walking around like,
You're like, oh, okay.
whoa. Pretty crazy. It was a really bad neighborhood, like really, really bad neighborhood. It was full of immigrants and where they were fighting all the time and racism and
Damn immigrants.
Prostitutes.
yeah, lots of toots there.
Lots of toots.
Lots of toots. The two main suspects that I at least have, you guys can pitch in other ones if you wish. The number one for me is Charles Cross or Charles Leshmere.
They're the same people?
Yep. This is the dude that he kind of found the second body. Well, according to reports, he was the guy who found the second body. And then this guy, Robert Paul, wandered up saying, hey, what's going on? And he saw him with her. But the reports that Paul and Leshmere gave were that they found the body together, which is later found untrue, that Paul didn't see Leshmere until he was he was walking, and then he could see him in the distance. So they weren't walking together.
Right. Didn't Cross report that he was standing in the street when he saw Paul walking up and was looking over at the body. And then Paul reported that when he came walking up, Leshmere was over the body.
Right.
Right.
And he backed up right away
they were
when
contradicting.
Yep. But they didn't put two and two together. Where was Scotland Yard when he needed them? But because it was such a shitty neighborhood, they didn't put a lot of effort into it. At least not until like it was probably too late. Seriously, they were like, population control. Get rid of some of these toots out of here. The other part about that with Charles Leshmere is that he worked around 4 o'clock in the morning. So he left his house at 3:30, almost like clockwork. And he said it took him 15 minutes to get to there and discover the body. Well, they had that video that you were watching, Johnny, that I'll link in the description. They did 3 walks, fast, slow, whatever. It averaged around 7 minutes. So there's like an 8-minute disparity throughout the story. So 8 minutes, very easily you can kill somebody in 2 minutes, let alone 8. We have a guy who left at 3:30, was found at 3:45, 15 minutes. Guy who was over the body that Paul guy saw, and he had 8 minutes to do what he wanted. Essentially, 8 minutes to do what he wanted. It's starting to add up that, at least that second one, and that's where that video that we're watching, that is where it all kind of started. The guy started doing some research on it. He started looking at the other bodies. Three of the 5 bodies were on his walk to work. Those 3 bodies were killed between the times of 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. They said then they say all the bodies too were not on that exact path, but in between his work point and his home point, if you were to like encompass it almost in like a circle. So he could have walked like a different route.
And not only that, the other 2 that weren't necessarily right on his route, one was in a neighborhood he used to frequent. In fact, right by a house or Brownson or whatever the heck they had there that he used to frequent, and the other one was his old house that he used to live in. How they didn't piece this together, I have no idea.
I didn't get to there.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like
in
every
his old
single
house?
one. Yeah, his old house, and then another one where like he kind of grew up with people right in that like couple houses. Like when you start like, how did they not start piecing that together? Because it really wasn't that hard to piece together.
Also, too, I feel like wouldn't it be so easy to just pay off the police at that point in time?
I mean, nowadays everybody, police have cameras on them and everything has to be reported and paperwork, and they call for backup and they're with partners and that. I mean, back then it was like the Wild West. I mean, you could just get away with pretty much anything if you think about it. There's no, witnesses to anything, and nobody's going to second guess you. I mean, if you paid off a police officer and then they were like, yeah, he was paid off, and the cop was like, no, I wasn't. I mean, it pretty much ends right there. I mean, like.
And someone would have to like see and know that they were paid off or whatever, but it would be pretty easy to like go in after and be like, hey, I want to talk to this guy, and then just like pay him off and no one knows.
And I keep mentioning the area was really bad.
And no one cared.
So no one cared
at the
dead
first prostitute.
Two, 3, they were like crap, and it's already too late. The first 3 were, for lack of better terms,
oh boy,
the butchered.
Okay.
The investigations were butchered. I don't have my rim shot.
No.
There we go.
Rim shot?
Rim shot.
Oh, okay. That's what that means.
So the guy that was kind of doing this investigation in the documentary I was watching, he put all this stuff together and he took it to this guy. I want to say it was a judge or lead lawyer, something like that. And the lawyer said, yeah, we would take that to court. That's definitely enough. Get him in, arrest him and talk to him and keep him in custody.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, the guy did some good work, but how the hell did they not start piecing it together? Like, that's one of the first things when you watch cop shows. Oh, where did the gal get murdered? And they put it on a map. Like, you couldn't figure that out?
Did they even take people into custody if they were suspect, or were they just like, you're suspect, and then they're just like walking around still a suspect?
I don't know.
You're a suspect, chap. Don't leave town.
Because wasn't there someone from...
Cheerio.
There was someone from the U.S., and they were in London, and then when he found out he was a suspect, he came back to the U.S., and they sent someone back, and they found him in New York City, and they tried to get him sent back to London to question and try him, in New York was like, no.
Depending
so all you had to do was just, like, leave.
Yeah, depending
And
on
they're like, all right.
nowadays too, depending on what you're suspected of or how much evidence there is against you, they'll inform you that you're a suspect or a person of interest, and I mean they don't apprehend you or hold you or anything like that, because you
Well, they
can't
do tell
really
you not to leave.
hold anybody. What's that?
They do say, like, don't leave the
Yeah,
city.
they'll say
or
don't leave
the
town or don't leave or go anywhere. But
Is
yeah.
that just
I mean, that's just like
an open threat or
yeah, pretty much. I
lame
mean, it's,
threat?
yeah, it's standard. It's like when you tell your kid, "Don't do something, I'm going to spank you." Like it's basically telling them the same thing.
Yeah, limp wrist, no way. So anything else on Cross or Leshmere? I mean, for me, he's the lead suspect. I mean, everything matches up. There's no, like, questions.
Yeah,
And they had him in custody, and he gave him the wrong name.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason they found out who his real name was is they went back on all the records, and they said there was like 40-some records. And the very last record, he had a surname or something like that, and he had it under Charles Cross. And that's how they matched him up. And he used the address he lived at. So Charles Leshmere was the address that Charles Cross gave him, which was, I mean, if you were going to do that, why would you put your address on there? Wouldn't
Why
you
would
just, like,
you
fake the address?
Murder someone right in your pathway to work.
Because apparently you're going to get caught.
Doesn't that seem like if you're going to do it, why wouldn't you go to a different part of town and murder someone there?
Right.
Why would you do it like, oh, well, I walk through here all the time. I'm just going to murder someone right outside my door.
Compulsion. They say a lot of it has to do with, like, he can't, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Just like when you walk into the break room and you see this delicious donut. You're like, nope, not gonna do it. Next thing you know, you got chocolate all over your face and a little bit of cream on your shirt. Okay, that was phrasing, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it's compulsion. Like, it's in him. He wants, it's like, oh my God, there she is. It'd be so easy just and next thing you know, and he probably had the stuff on him because he worked. Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah, he worked.
He worked for a butcher. He
Oh,
delivered
that's easy.
meat. So it was always bloody.
And he had a knife.
Yeah.
Because who else is just walking around with like a weapon long enough to surgically remove parts of bodies? Just walking around with it. Does he have like a history of like hating women?
And I don't know. They didn't get into that because they were just really explaining that everything matched up to the T. Like, all 5 can be easily traced back to this guy. And the fact that he wasn't held or even further. And then the dude actually at the very end of the show, he held up this picture because the guy ended up filthy rich. They didn't say why he was rich, but this Charles Leshmere, he was rich. So he got all the rich people having pictures taken. So he had a picture that was taken when he was like 60 or 70 years old. Just standing there, he killed a bunch of people and allegedly up to 11 people. But 5 can only be truly.
Maybe he's getting money from the toots.
Or, Nikki, you had a really creepy theory.
There was a theory that people were selling bodies as the cadavers to medical schools to make money, and they'd pay you a lot of money if you were selling cadavers or like internal organs for research. Or if he's a butcher, why couldn't he just kind of do like a Sweeney Todd type deal and like, oh yeah, here's some beef. Do you know what I mean?
But
A little
yeah,
off
the
subject,
witches-
but did you see that somewhere in Buffalo they have one of these restaurants or something like that just got a license to sell human meat?
No, they didn't.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
That's legal in the United States.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
Well, you can actually legally sell human meat in Nevada.
On Craigslist?
As long as you film it.
You know, at the Chicken Ranch or whatever. Or I think it's only Reno, is it?
The Chicken Ranch?
Chicken Ranch.
Yeah, the Chicken Ranch.
You mean the Bunny Ranch?
Oh, yeah.
Cat House?
Well, I'm thinking chicks and the Chicken Ranch.
It's like Chicken Ranch.
Chicken-
sounds
Chicken Ranch is
delicious.
the
Chicken heads?
If you don't have the
Sounds
money.
like a great sandwich.
Well, actually, that would be Chicken Ranch.
Chicken
would be
Ranch.
Fantastic. But that's when you don't have, like, oh, I only got $20. Okay, let's go to the Chicken Ranch.
The value menu.
The dollar menu. Oh, no, I couldn't even
You don't
imagine what
want
the dollar
that.
menu was. Now, Aaron Kosminski, he was a guy, and right off the bat, I'm just going to get this out there. They found a shawl or a shroud or whatever with his blood, or allegedly his blood, and jizz on it. I told
Right.
Nikki, I wonder if that's, and I don't know, was John part of that? I don't think he was part of that episode, was he?
With his own blood on it?
Yeah, his blood and his jizz on it.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think. Okay, well, I was just saying maybe the shawl was Dragon Ball Z shawl. Okay.
We did an end of episode story about how a man got his dick bitten
His brother.
by his brother. And when they were like, why did your brother
Whoa.
bite your dick? And he's like, because he was
His cousin.
my cousin.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
And they got blood on his Dragon Ball Z blanket, and he got
jizz.
angry.
He jizzed on the
Yes.
the Dragon Ball Z. We're getting sponsored.
Because
Still getting sponsored.
The cousin part wasn't bad enough to make him angry, but you get semen on my Dragon Ball Z blanket. That's where I start getting angry.
So if you got angry though, what would then
Bite a
think a
dick,
good
yes.
way to get back at him is to bite his dick?
I don't know.
and
Like,
Nikki
I
had
know
the
how I'll get
theory
even.
that-
I'll put his dick in my mouth. Like
that he
what
didn't
the fuck?
interrupt them.
No,
he was
he
part
was
of
part
them.
of it,
they
for
they
sure.
kind of
Right?
they kind of left that story out.
I'm sure
That-
he was.
Yeah,
they were
probably.
They were probably, what do they call it? Pinballing or
Is that what that's
Eiffel
called?
Tower, spit roasting.
spit roasting. That's it. Thank you. Spit roasting,
Not that
and
I
then
know these terms.
he's like, "What the hell?" But I don't know why. Like Nikki said before, like, what would? Why is your head anywhere near his pee-pee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different than spit. Yeah. Never mind.
Anyway, okay,
I'm
that's
not gonna get into.
This
so.
is
I just
It's
wanted
gone
to get
down
that
a
out of the
rabbit
way.
hole
That
way too far.
they found blood and jizz on it, and
when a brother loves a brother very much.
is that the story you tell your kids?
Yeah.
Was it a first cousin?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh wow.
They didn't say in the article second cousin, so, you know.
What state we got?
And I'll link the episode in the description.
We'll figure
you
it
guys
out. I
can
don't remember
listen
what
to it.
state it was in. It was in the South.
I don't think it was Florida.
It wasn't Florida.
Sure
But it was like
in the
Georgia or
South.
something. It was
Ooh,
some-
I'm sure it was.
So Aaron Kosminski,
I'm surprised he had enough teeth to bite his dick.
exactly.
Oh God.
Yeah, it took him like 20 minutes. He gummed it off.
Yeah, that's why it took him 20 minutes.
Okay. Oh, come on. Someone's got to. No, Nikki, no, Nikki, no.
Speaking of hazelnutting.
Yeah, hazelnutting. The Aaron Kosminski. So they got the DNA. Now, I might have this a little bit off. I don't know if you guys know how this went down. That they had. It went down.
Yeah.
I meant to say that. Yeah. And they did the whole DNA thing on it. And come to find.
To find out.
I need to have banned words in front of me, so I quit. I quit. Well, I
write
meant to
them
say
all
that.
down.
You wouldn't follow it anyways.
Yeah, I know. I'd forget it's there. And I guess I know exactly how it happened. Like they were like someone got hold of this information and they published the story. Like, oh my God, we found Jack the Ripper, because of course that's going to sell magazines and newspapers and everything. And then when people who actually know what the hell they're doing looked at it, going, "What are you guys doing? This is like 100 years old. It was never in like a, you know how they have to have it in control.
Bag.
Like
Yeah.
it's been hanging out forever. Who knows? It could have some guy could have came by and was just jizzed right on it and kept walking. It could be this, well, and he had nothing to do with
Right.
being the Ripper. And the match they had, it's a really complicated. Like they can match the mother but not the father. But since he's a guy, it was something wasn't matching up, which ends up being it couldn't be indicative of like a certain family, but it's a certain regional thing. So it could be one of hundreds or maybe thousands of people. But they just kind of narrowed it down to him.
Right.
And they didn't do any other testing on anyone else, just his mother, and it kind of matched. Well, yeah, of course it's going to match because it's in the, just like when you do the spit test for, for what is that, where you can send it in and find out where all your,
I don't know.
DNA testing?
I don't do spit tests, Jim.
no,
Well, it answers that question.
they're not going to get a lot from the swallow test.
Well, is
so
it
I'm just saying.
23andMe? Right? That's
Yeah.
what it's called?
Yes, 23andMe.
Yeah.
was
They
it?
do
Yes.
one. So does the
They
what's
do
the
them
other
for
one?
your
that
dogs,
Ancestry?
too.
Ancestry.com or whatever that is.
You can tell your dog's breed if you have them do one, too.
Come on, Fido. Spit.
Good boy.
Thank God they don't need anything else. Sitting there milking a dog for an hour. I don't know why I thought about that. But anyways,
I don't know.
I knew we were going to get caught up on that. Well, I was. Anyways.
So it was his shroud, right?
I don't know if it was his shroud. It was
Whose
his
shroud was it?
blood.
It was the woman's.
Is
The woman's
woman's.
shroud.
The woman who was murdered. It
Which
was
is a toot.
hers. And then wasn't there some story that that it wasn't turned in immediately because, like, the police officer gave it to his wife as a gift.
I heard something like that too, but
So it's her
Yes.
shroud with his.
Blood and jizz
Spunk.
on it. And he was like, here, honey, I got you a gift.
what's the stuff on here?
And then
It's custom.
Well, it would
that's
make
the weird
sense
thing is, like, that if it went missing and then they got it back, like, what, did she not launder it the entire time she had it?
And is the guy Polish that got it and gave it to her? Because if that could give him the wrong DNA.
Oh, the husband?
Do you like the sound of
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Is that your sound now?
yeah. No, mine was just boing. Mine was,
Boing. Like the little springs next to your door?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's an intro. I
But-
don't want to go down that road.
So, yeah, there's so many things wrong with Aaron Kosminski. So he's definitely not it. Do either you have any more suspects that you want to talk about?
Well, you don't want to talk about H.H. Holmes, but that's a common suspect.
Okay. Then there's that Duke guy, the Duke of something.
Yes, the queen, like in the queen's family. It's weird to think that, like, any evidence we have isn't actually any evidence at all. Like, the letters could just be from random people and aren't from him.
But did we want to talk about the one that they
The
thought?
shawl could just not be from it.
Right. It could have been just
It could just be no evidence. Any of the suspects just could not be the person.
But the shawl was of a prostitute, so
Yeah.
it could have been the guy before her.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she just didn't service one guy a night. She probably serviced 3 or 4.
Right.
Oh.
At least.
So
Yeah.
that could have been this Kosminski guy could have been the last guy she humped was this Kosminski guy, and he just couldn't hold it in, went all over the place on a shawl and all that. And I don't know why the blood would be there though. Got a
Maybe
bloody
he couldn't
nose or
hold it
something.
in. Maybe he was pulling praying.
I don't know. I mean, but there's, like, you got to think there's, like, blood on, like, the sidewalk, or you brush up against something, or, you know what I mean?
Like he just had a scratch or
Or
something.
if
that's-
it's just hers and no one ever, like, borrowed it, or, like, there could literally be zero evidence except for the bodies.
and even that's
And they didn't find, like, any of the bodies were assaulted other than, like, the wounds from the killing.
from what I gathered, they were never like sexually assaulted.
So
but,
there's no evidence, like, there, really.
right. They just ripped out the uterus and stuff. Yeah, and
Uteri.
uterus.
Unless he left, like, mustache hairs on, like, all of them somehow, or...
Mustache hair.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Hey, Captain, we got a curly Q.
Everyone there just had, like, big mustaches. And, like, all
That's
the
true.
suspects had hats. They're all just different hats all the time.
Well, that was the thing. Everyone had either the little newspaper boy cap or the top. And that's the other thing that he was talking, like, it couldn't have been a rich person unless they specifically dressed down for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, walking around with a top hat and everything, like, he'd stick out like a sore thumb in that area. And again, I'll keep it. The area was horrible. One of the worst areas in the country, in England at the time.
But that's how they usually portray, like, Jack the Ripper. If there's, like, cartoons or anything, it's like a top hat and, like, a long, like, black cloak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'd like to, I don't know if we'd have time to talk about, is the glorification of this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the dude was an absolute waste of humanity, and everyone's like, oh, Jack the Ripper, oh, awesome, cool, oh, great. It's like he's being glorified. It's like, no. I mean, it's interesting, but don't glorify him. And that's a perfect example, Nick, that when you see him, he's all tidy and dressed nice. Guaranteed he's just some jamoke with apron with blood all over him, and he probably had, like, 3 teeth and snot going down his face. It's like, quit glorifying the guy.
I think it just started, like, immediately because it was the first, like, news story that everyone, like, paid attention to in, like, a series type of a way. Like, it was like the O.J. Simpson trial. Like, everyone was, like, sitting there, like, waiting to hear what was happening.
That was pretty crazy.
So it made him, like, a little celebrity when it was happening.
But that's a good segue to the letters. The last thing we'll talk about.
Oh,
the letters.
Saucy Jack.
Saucy Jack.
Saucy Jack.
This is the
I like this portrayal of him. The what was
I just want to know, the person who's forging it. What can we say? Saucy Jack. Ooh, Saucy Jack.
He's so funny.
I think there was 5, and 4 have been pretty much like, no, that's not. But the From Hell, I always get it. Is it From Hell? The letter called From Hell?
Oh, yes.
And it had a little piece of liver.
Kidney. Yes.
And he goes, oh, this was the kidney from the last girl I killed. I ate the rest. But they never released the fact of out to the public to what was taken for, or what really happened to the woman. They said, she was mangled, whatever, but they didn't say anything was taken. How would this person know that was taken?
Well, in the letters, doesn't he say he's going to send the ears of his next victim? And then the one that they found, it's like the fourth one. He didn't have time to like mangle her. He just like killed her. And then the next one was like within the same like 24 hours or something.
In a house, yeah.
And it was like the most brutal one. And they say it's because like he didn't have time to like mutilate the one. So he was like more frustrated and went and killed someone immediately and then like completely f***ed her body up.
That's what I'm feeling. It's like a compulsion. Like,
yeah.
I have to do this. And you like
a ritual.
Like when you're whacking it and someone interrupts you, like, and then you go back to it, you're hitting it twice as hard anyways. Too much information.
Holy shit.
I'm so glad we don't have cameras in here for you guys to watch what just happened.
I don't know why.
But yeah, one of the letters said like that he was going to send her ears. And then the fourth one, he's like, I didn't have time to send her ears or something. And then the next one came with like the kidney. But then they were saying it was like a prank from a medical student.
Why would they know? How would they know that the kidney was removed?
I think he didn't know. He was just saying, I'm going to send you her ears. And then he's like, I didn't have a chance to get her ears. So here's the fifth victim's kidney.
And then he ate it. Like, he said, oh, yeah, and I ate the rest. Like, oh, what?
But Jack the Ripper didn't eat anything.
Right,
so.
that's what threw me. I'm like, okay, I can understand where they're coming from with the idea behind it, but he wasn't, I don't think he was a cannibal.
No.
Huh.
I feel like a cannibal would preserve the body
and
better.
take more parts.
Yeah.
Oh.
And nothing was taken except for the uterus.
And a kidney. There was one.
That's
kidney
the other thing. So for when people are saying they think it's H.H. Holmes, they said that from a lot of the victims in H.H. Holmes' like mansion, he would take
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but oh my God, John's stomach, it resounded through this room.
Yeah.
That's all day. It's my life all day. I'm surprised this is the first time you've noticed.
Kidneys.
I felt like the wall hangs were ripping off the wall.
This is my life.
There's a squatch in his wood.
This is my life.
They were saying H.H. Holmes was dissecting ovaries of women that he was killing because he was trying to make a serum for youth because he thought there was something in the ovaries that like produced life, and by like experimenting with that he'd be able to stay young because H.H. Holmes had like a ridiculous fear of death that like everybody knew about. And so they were saying like it seems funny that like the uterus is what was taken in London when H.H. Holmes wasn't in America.
I didn't want to get too much into H.H. Holmes because that could be a whole episode on its own.
Yeah, well, with his own doings and not being a suspect of Jack the Ripper.
But he is. There's a whole Lynn at work. She comes, oh, you got to watch this.
Yeah.
Watch it before your podcast. My podcast is in 3 hours, man. That ain't happening.
Not do that.
Yeah, and plus, I just realized I wanted just to kind of keep it to the England part, but H.H. Holmes is very interesting. Like, they have a lot of correlation, and it's kind of weird.
Just some light, casual vacation murder on your break from your normal home life murder.
Go out to dinner, have a few beers,
a kidney,
rip out a uterus, head on home.
All in a day's work?
Yeah, you know. I wanted to give a more complete list, but I have, to wrap up our Jack the Ripper thing, it just seemed like every kind of supernatural TV show I watched always tried to include Jack the Ripper at some level. So
a ghost Jack the Ripper.
That was my one supernatural theory, that it was a ghost that possessed different people. Mm-hmm. But he did the same thing. I think your stomach is Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
That, that's how he got away with it. Because it was a different person every time. Oh, my God. That is really loud. Mm-hmm. I hope that comes out on that'd be amazing.
That'd be really funny.
So the 3 that I can remember was the show Grimm. One of the main characters, the captain of the police force, his body was possessed by Jack the Ripper. And I thought they did a really good job with that, though I kind of rolled my eyes. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He wanted to fit it in there. That's fine. But that was kind of interesting. Angel, the show Angel, Spike was haunted by a ghost of Jack the Ripper, and it was holding him in another dimension. There you go. And then Supernatural, they aligned him with H.H. Holmes as one of the same. They kept saying it's H.H. Holmes, but as they progressed through the story, they relating it to Jack the Ripper. So those are the three I can remember. It's just there's always the same kind of monsters that end up coming around, and the same villains pop up out of nowhere. And
where did it start that like Jack the Ripper started becoming like this ghost type figure and everything like that?
Because he couldn't be found. Because no one knows who he was. He was never seen. Well, allegedly never seen. It's like he got into a place because the places, again, the place was shit. They had tons of policemen. Like on that video, if you watch it tonight, if you watch it too, you'll see they give kind of the idea of where the policemen patrol throughout the whole time. And you can see that it would be near impossible to make it through there without being seen. So he definitely had to be someone that went through there a lot. People recognize him, so it wasn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. That kind of, it wasn't like someone new that they never saw, or, there's lots of things that adds up. And again, it adds up to this Charles Leshmere guy.
Or just like a policeman.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first thought. Quick fire.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
No hemming and hawing. I want immediate answers.
Oh, no.
All right, who wants to go first?
Nikki does.
I'll go first.
All right. Not counting serial killing. If you were going to be a criminal mastermind, what would be your dirty deed?
So, criminal mastermind.
Yeah, what would be your thing? What would be your crime?
Probably theft.
Theft. Johnny?
Or like scams. Some sort of a scam.
It'd be like a scammer. Actually, what would be considered?
I wouldn't kill anyone. So
Right.
I wouldn't be a serial killer anyway.
Right. If you were to blow something up, what would that be considered?
So not like an arsonist,
Not an arsonist.
but like a terrorist.
Explosionist.
Yeah, like say somebody were to like blow up a building. Not with anybody in it, but they were to like blow up a building of some business that they didn't like, or some agency, or like National Grid or something.
Without
like,
anyone in it.
Wow, that was pretty quick.
Yeah,
Pinpointing National Grid.
Like, what would that be considered? Like, what
Terrorism.
Is that terrorism?
What's the thing when you're obsessed with fire?
That's an arsonist. Yeah.
So you'd be an arsonist.
Yeah.
I'd just be stealing panties.
Stealing panties?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see
Just
that.
buy them.
No. That's too easy. All right, and the second question. Johnny, you ready?
Call me after. What?
Like Jack the Ripper.
Okay, after.
Like Jack the Ripper.
Oh, no.
Taking what your dirty deed is, so you've told us what it is.
Sure.
What would be your nickname?
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, that'd be an odd nickname, man. You'd be popular with the Mexicans. Whoops. Or the
That's
Spanish.
That's Jesus.
The Jesus.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not racist.
Oh, John the Bomber? I don't
John
know.
the Bomber.
John the Bomber. That sounds like a meatball place.
Actually, that sounds like a
John
good
the Bomber
one.
sounds
John
like
the
a good
Bomber.
restaurant.
Oh my God, meatballs, submarine bombers. Oh my God, I used to love those.
Meatball bombers.
Oh, God.
That's like one of my go-tos when I don't want to cook. Is I'm like, here, kids, and I just like heat up some frozen meatballs and put them in like a little roll, and I'm like, subs with like some sauce
Sprinkle a little
and
cheese on it, and it's off it
It's
goes.
like 5 minutes, and I'm like, there you go, dinner. You're full now.
And it's
Leave
a
me
good
alone.
What about you, Nikki?
I don't know. I feel like it would have to be one word, like Madonna type of thing.
Make it to the one name status.
But it would also have to be like an anonymous type of thing. I wouldn't want my name associated with it, obviously, if I was trying to get away with it.
All right. Because we're pretty sure Jack the Ripper, his name wasn't Jack.
Are you? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It was one of the, I think it started with the Saucy Jack or whatever.
Saucy Jack.
And then the next one was like Jack the Ripper, and they took that from the letters. That's how he ended up getting the nickname.
So weird. He might have had a different name for himself, which is strange to think about. I don't know.
I know, it's a tough one.
Fudge.
That would be your nickname?
No, I'm just trying not to
Fudge.
swear.
Oh my
even though I
God.
literally
Fudge
said
stroke again. Stroke.
Fudge stroke.
Fudge stroke. Forget it. I can't say it.
Strikes again.
Strikes again. Strokes again.
Stroke.
I'm thinking of my nickname.
Fudge strokes.
Fudge strokes.
No,
Ew.
J
Oh,
I'm
Strokes.
not selling panties. It's
I'm
fudge
not selling
strokes.
panties. J Strokes strikes again.
What would yours be? What would you be? If
J Strokes.
But
I had that in my head. That's why I kept saying it.
oh, ew.
J Strokes.
J strokes.
J Stroker, like instead of Bram Stoker.
Like, not to be confused with Bram Stoker or
Yeah.
Lisa Bam Stroker.
Bram Stroker.
That's a great one too. If you ever want to visit that episode, she's just in
Oh, it
tears,
was
and we're going, "What's so
so
funny?"
funny.
She's like, "I've been calling him Bam Stroker."
Bram Stroker. It's a good porn name.
It is kind of, yeah,
You dress up as like a vampire.
Bam Stroker. I was thinking
Bam
of like,
Stroker.
what's that Captain Caveman? Bam or Bam Bam.
Bam
Bam Bam
Bam
is from the
Flintstones.
Flintstones.
Yeah, Bam Bam.
Caveman, Captain Caveman.
Maybe that would be my name.
Bam Bam.
Yeah. So it would just like happen and you wouldn't even know it.
I think we have to put like Miss in front, like Miss Bam Bam.
Why are you
again.
gendering me?
Because they're gonna instantly think it's a dude.
Good.
That's-
Throws them
good
off my
point. She
scent.
was.
Yeah.
Good point.
Like, have you seen Killing Eve? How she like just wears something different. She looks completely different every time she like kills someone. She has like a completely different persona. It would be that, but I would be scamming people and stealing stuff. I would just like change everything
And I
every
always say
time I
that,
did
though.
it.
If you're gonna commit
Like a
crime,
chameleon.
get like a fake tattoo, put a fake tattoo on, or put like a scar on your face, or something. Anything that would completely throw.
Contacts, color contacts, dye your hair, wear a
they had
wig.
green eyes or whatever. And
Oh man.
Yeah.
Seems
All right,
very-
so-
very informative on this.
we have two quick stories, probably about me and my sex life. But
Bam Stroker, everybody.
Bam Bam.
I couldn't even say Bam Bam strokes again, strikes again.
No.
We have one about Dr. Phil's house, and normally I wouldn't do this, but oh my God, is it messed up? Holy you have to see
The
the
Dr.
pictures of Dr. Phil.
The Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
The
Dr. Phil on
doctor?
TV. He
Bald
sold
head guy?
his house. He had pictures of his house. Not even going to explain it. Just go and see it because it's
You
very hard to
can't explain
It's
it. Yeah.
wow. How his wife even lives there? I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. You just got to see it.
I will have
But
to see it, I
doesn't it say that like he hasn't lived there in like 4 years and like it was in his son's use?
It very well could. I just looked at the headline for this one.
Oh, I read the whole thing because I was like, what is happening? Is there an explanation? The tweets about it are hilarious.
Oh my God, the great. That's why I mean. I'll put the link because then if you click on one of the tweets, you'll see the whole list of responses, and they are pretty damn funny.
Whatever you expect, it's not going to be what you expect.
Yeah, that's
And
why I
then
don't want to
there's
give it away.
Every room, it's not just like one room. Like every room is completely different that you wouldn't even think it's the same house.
I only give this
Yeah.
away.
I'm like so intrigued now.
The
I wanna
walls
see
are
this
covered.
myself.
There is no open walls anywhere.
No.
There's just you just got to see it.
Stuff everywhere.
But neatly.
Art, quote unquote art.
Yeah, it's neatly done, but it's just jammed with just
It does not seem like him.
no.
It
Unless he
seems
was
like
a schizophrenic.
it seems like a girl you would meet at a festival who has a trust fund and her name's Wysteria. Like that's what it looks like it belongs to.
That should have been
there's
your
crime
nickname.
name, yeah.
And she like
Wisteria.
seizes from like having done drugs in the past 4 years, and she's like, come into my house, and then like seizes a little bit, and then you like look at the room and you're like, oh yep, this makes sense for you, not
Or-
Dr. Phil.
Or I can segue to our last episode about the Ouija board. So if there was a girl back in the
Oh.
day and she went on a date, one of the big things was they bring a Ouija board to the date. What? She has a wall full. She's a
Ouija
slut.
boards?
She had a wall full of Ouija boards.
Ouijas.
Yeah.
So I think Dr. Phil's a slut. There you go. That's what we came out of that.
He's married.
So the other article is the Antarctica. I always say it wrong. Antarctica.
Which aunt of yours?
Antarctica discovery. The main one is mysterious man-made cave exposed on Google Maps. What is hiding? But there, if you really look up Antarctica, I sound like I'm on hooked on phonics. That there's
But like
tons
the,
of stuff they're
the
discovering.
generic version
Yeah,
of
exactly.
phonics.
The bootlegged version.
Yeah. Hopped on Fox.
That it was just all this new stuff is coming out, and one thing comes to mind is H.P. Lovecraft, The Mountain of Madness.
I haven't read that one.
That is fantastic. It's a little too technical for me, where he gets into all this geological bullshit. But the story behind it is that they go to Antarctica and they find stuff there. I won't ruin it for anyone. Spoiler alert. So, but it reminds me of that. So I'll have the link on there, in the description. Now, on to our number one story for our podcast. Man wakes up to find burglar sucking his toes. Really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Only
Unreal.
in Florida.
Only in Florida. Yeah.
Maybe it was like a weird fetish gang initiation.
So, intruder tells victim he was only there to suck toes.
But his specifically or anyone's?
Let's find out. Authorities in Florida are reportedly looking for a man suspected of breaking into another man's home. Oh, the man.
Man. Toes.
Okay. Bill. Another man's home and sucking on his toes as he slept. Hopefully he took a shower before he went to bed. The victim awoke
Why?
on...
Why
it's
would
Christmas Eve.
Cater to the victim. The victim's catering to the guy who snuck
I think
into
someone's
his
going to
house?
break in and suck my toes. I'm going to take a
I better
shower.
make sure they're
My
clean
mom
tonight.
used to always tell me, you got to shower before bed just
Okay.
in case someone breaks in to suck your toes.
I got to get that cheese out of there. The victim awoke on Christmas Eve, this Christmas Eve too, to find the burglar at the foot of his bed in his home in Bradenton City, according to a news station.
How did you know that the guy would prefer his feet to be clean?
That's true.
Maybe
Add flavor.
he likes it dirty.
Yuck.
Was he naked?
I don't know. Let's see if we can find out. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office said the suspect declared he was there to suck toes. One 20-year-old victim told he did not have any money. So, no money? Come on, give me the toes. Officers said the intruder reportedly attempted to grab the victim's groin. Oh, boy. And an altercation ensued between the two men
That doesn't
before
sound
the
like you're
suspect
just
fled.
there to suck toes if you're grabbing the crotch.
Maybe that's code in Florida.
only in Trump's America are we going around grabbing groins.
And sucking toes.
Sucking toes if someone doesn't have any cash to rub.
I just feel like that's a saying. Like, we're grabbing groins and sucking toes.
Yeah.
Before leaving, the suspect climbed onto the victim's car parked outside the home and stomped on the windshield to break it, said police.
This guy is 100% on meth.
Oh, absolutely. Bath salts. No arrests have been made, but DNA samples of the suspect's saliva have been obtained from the victim's toes, and investigations are underway. Fantastic. That's all they have on that story.
So he was up on the toes.
Yeah.
He made it.
Yeah.
Like he got there.
Yep.
That's probably what woke him up, like a tongue between the toes or something.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
I don't have a dog.
Yeah, like,
You're like, what?
or it'd be like, Fido, I told you, I want the balls, not the toe. Oh, hey, what are you doing down there?
No, we went for the balls.
My feet feel really
It's true.
wet.
So I don't understand how this happened, because you'd think if he was sucking toes, the guy had to be asleep. So how would the guy know he went to grab his groin first if he was asleep?
No, after.
Oh, after?
Yeah, after he was sucking the toes, he went to grab the groin, and then the dude jumped away. Officers said the intruder reportedly attempted to grab the victim's groin, and an altercation ensued between the two men before the suspect fled. So he was sucking toes, woke the guy up, and then he went for the groin, and then the altercation happened. They took off.
And through the altercation, his toes stayed wet.
Yep. He probably slipped around, or unless it's rugged,
Then his toes are still wet.
because they would have to get the saliva sample. So
Well, it might have just been so much on there that it dried and stayed on.
Why not just kick him in the face?
is dried saliva good? Good for DNA? Because it's mixing with your skin.
I don't know. It was probably under the toenails.
This is some
They probably
CSI
swabbed
bullshit right here.
Under
True.
a toenail.
That's true.
This is some serious CSI bullshit.
There's crime afoot.
But why didn't he go for the groin first? I mean, I'm guessing that was the main goal. Like, ooh, let's turn him on. I'll lick his toes. Why wouldn't he just go for the groin first? Or,
Well, maybe like you just said. Maybe he likes a little foreplay.
yeah, but I don't know.
Not everyone's
get
just a wham bam kind of person.
But you're a burglar. You don't have a lot of time. It's not like you can sit there and have tea and crumpets or something. You have
Does
to.
he know? Did it say that either of them were gay?
No.
Well, I would say that the sucker was definitely
Either
not completely
he either liked
heterosexual.
the pendulum swinging both ways or on the wrong side of the road.
And then why did he break his windshield? Like,
That's
so
where your
confused.
theory comes in, that he's on meth or
on
bath salts or something.
something.
And maybe watch like HBO. Remember HBO Real Sex?
Well, what happened to him? Did they get him?
No, they're doing saliva testing, and investigations are underway because I'm sure like lots of policemen are going after this guy.
That's insane.
the whole windshield bashing thing is a little like, what? The other stuff, like, all right, well, he's just kind of a weirdo. That's fine.
Might be closing in, but they got a lot of footwork to do.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a very good one. I'm surprised that you didn't, Nikki. I'm ashamed, like, that you didn't.
Why?
You couldn't come up with something.
I did. I said there's crime afoot.
Oh, damn it. Oh, I don't even have my headphones on. I'm so out of the game here. Now, wasn't there someone around here that broke into people's house, didn't steal anything, but would, like, make breakfast? Yeah, there was someone, I know there was. They'd make breakfast.
Is it my ex?
And eat and, like, leave breakfast for them and then leave.
I had an ex who had a key to my house, and sometimes we were on a break, and he would come in, he would let himself into my house, and then watch TV in my room, or, like, take a shower, eat a sandwich or something, wash his plate and put it back, and leave, and not tell me he was there. And I'd go home and I'd be like, this remote isn't where I put it. Or, like, why is the shower head, like, dripping? Or, like, something. And I'd be like, what's weird in here?
Who the hell ate my salami?
Like, something strange in here. And then I would have to be like, were you in my house?
Oh, yeah, just stop by for a sandwich, babe.
And then, well, like, if I asked, he would be like, yeah. And I was like, why wouldn't you tell me you were going to go to the house? Or, like, my thing is I could tell that the volume was different on the TV. If the volume was, like, louder, because I'm a quiet TV listener, and I would, like, turn on the TV and be like, my volume was not up this high when I left this morning. And it kind of makes you feel, like, a little bit crazy.
Kind of creeped out, too.
Yeah, a little creepy.
Yeah.
A little creepy.
Yeah, I can see that. But, yeah, I'm positive it was in Buffalo. And everyone was like, yeah, we need to catch this guy.
Why?
But he was making breakfast.
I
mean, it was just innocent stuff. It wasn't anything.
Was he leaving them breakfast?
Yeah, or I don't know. He's probably using their food, I'm guessing. I just remember, like, he'd break in and either do weird things, like do laundry, or he ended up being mentally ill, obviously.
So how did he break in? Like, he would break a window?
That I don't know. I know that it was like 3 houses, and then the whole neighborhood watch thing happened, and the patrols picked up, and
burglar.
it ended up getting caught. So
I'm gonna have to look into that.
yep, I'm positive.
You just want some breakfast and some clean clothes.
And for that, I'm leaving you. I cooked you breakfast. You know, he probably took things out of the hamper, did their clothes and stuff.
Leave me a little serving.
I invite
I'll be all right
anyone
with it.
to do my laundry and make me breakfast and then leave.
How about suck your toes?
You know, if they have to. If that's like their reward for making me breakfast
Okay.
and doing my laundry and then leaving.
Okay, everyone, just so you know, you like toe sucking and you don't mind doing laundry and cooking a little breakfast, there you go.
And leaving. The leaving part is
Yeah.
key. Yeah, just go.
Quietly and cleanly leave. All right, so, Johnny, any last words for this ripper of an episode?
No, I got none.
None?
Mm-mm.
Nikki, I'm always afraid to ask you, but do you have anything to add? I'm getting resting bitch face here.
No.
Okay.
I could think of puns for Jack, but they're all dirty.
No.
We were
didn't
talking
cross
about
that bridge.
jizzing on Dragon Ball Z blankets, so I'm pretty sure
That was a recap.
that's true. Oh, one thing I wanted to start doing is, who would have sponsored us today? Tide.
Tide.
Washing out the jizz.
Cutco, knife companies.
Oh, yeah, knife companies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Abortion clinics. Oh, sorry.
Foot Locker.
Ate too much. Ooh, Foot Locker. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even. That's a good one. Foot Locker. That would be our. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the winner. The Foot Locker.
Yeah, Tide would be like, get all your murder stains out.
Yeah, you got a little jizz mark and a little. You don't want anyone to know, or get you 120 years later.
That's how you know it's not a woman, though, is because we know how to get blood out of our clothes.
That's true. And you seem to be, for the most part, generally speaking, a little more cleaner than guys.
Hydrogen peroxide.
Yes.
For any of you aspiring serial killers, we'll get blood out of.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone. For everyone, sure, that's great English.
Thank you for everyone.
Thank you for everyone.
That's a great blessing.
Yes. Blessed be love and life.
Thank you for everyone.
And thank you for everyone. You never know what's gonna pop up, come up. Come on, we're gonna
Jack in the Box.
Jack. All right. Thank you for watching. Take care.
Watching.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's getting strange.
I got to add in. Johnny, you want to do it for us?
I don't know. Something about getting strange.
Yeah. Midnight Hollow, where you can get your strange.
Get some strange.
No,
We do this every time.
No, the last time I did it good.
I did it good.
That one time in my
Did
life.
good stuff.
I did
good.
it the one time in my
Thank
life.
you for everyone.
Thank you for everyone.
I did good.
Bye.
I'm literally
I
gonna
can't.
put a post-it on the monitor so you can be like, don't say these words. This is the slogan.
I'm gonna need it.
I know. I know.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.